Ezekiel Company, stretch your hands. You are the hands of strength. Do you realize that you are the word of encouragement, which means to raise the roof? I heard the Lord say, I drew you here to refresh you. So as you go back, you'll go back with a renewed spirit, but with a refreshed soul. And he says, and you'll go back with an impartation that will activate a glory cloud in your house and begin to gather the young men and the young women in your church. I just heard the Lord say, in your city of ministry, he said, I am going to gather the brokenhearted of the young. For they have turned to drugs. They have turned to violence. They have turned to the worldly things because there has been nobody to communicate with them. The Lord says, I am going to put a message of communication to the young out through you. The two of you are going to become a net into your city, into the junior high and high schools. And he says that I'm going to use you to begin to facilitate a place of life that offers a generation a place to turn to find wisdom, to find counsel, but to find family. Your area has been devastated by single-family homes where men have been baby producers but never fathers. God says, I am going to cause these men that walk with their pants half down to be lifted up, and I'm going to pull tight their loins. God says, I'm going to rescue the woman that has taken the seed that has been placed and visited the parenthood place and only to abort it. For the Lord says, this city will not be a place known as death to a generation, but I will cause you to become a messenger of life to a people. The Lord says, I am going to cause your ministry to have not just white, but to also have black and the Hispanic. I am going to cause you to be a gathering place of all ethnicity to begin to find hope. The Lord says, inside of you is a spirit of Deborah. Deborah's name means bee or busy one. The Lord says, I am going to cause you to get busy, and I'm going to cause you to go into the places where children are hurting and throw in a line of rescuing. The Lord says, I'm going to cause you to be a woman that's not afraid to fish. And he says, and I'm going to cause you to gather the big ones. God says, I'm going to give you the key young men and the key young women that are in the city that have influence over a people. And they will be the ones that will captivate and draw. And they will begin to bring them in. God says, get ready, because your church will raise up a troupe of arts, a troupe of dance. They will move in the media. They will move in things that are creative. God says, I'm going to give you not only dancers, but painters. I'm going to give you rappers and singers. And they're all going to be young men and young women. They're going to be the ones that want to take up the instruments and become the minstrels. But they're going to desire the supernatural. God says, son and daughter, get ready, because I'm going to impregnate you with the call of the supernatural to raise up a generation that others could not see glory in. But you will see it, harvest it, and release it, and they will become mighty warriors. God says, son, I am going to shake you to the core. I'm going to shake you and cause new things to come alive. He says, you have been tired of the system. You've been tired of the old. And you said, Father, I want something new. He says, today I am stirring you up as a mighty man of valor. He said, I'm coming upon you with the might and with the strength. He says, I'm awakening the greater gift inside of you. You've been one that has been steady like a rock, a pillar, one that stands strong. This is completely different to you. He says, but get ready. It'll be a great glory that will flow out of you from this day forward. He says, I fill you with fresh light, fresh power. I fill you with the fresh impartation of glory. The prophetic nature will now roar in, by, and through you to a generation to produce change. He said, I impart. Now, just squeeze me. May there be a fresh impartation of this prophetic nature, and may something glorious come alive in him from this day forward. Let it wait. There it goes. Just a little bit out of the ordinary for you. But as he heard the word being prophesied of Ezekiel, something came alive in him. I've heard you say, there's more in him. And prophesy. I've heard you say, there's greatness in him. And prophesy. And at times, he could hear you. Couldn't believe it. But today, I've activated every word. I've activated your prayers at night as he slept and you spoke in tongues. You were in obedience to God, and there was a time where he said, I'm tired of this. But you did it in obedience, and he said, this is what you were doing. Stirring up deep, deep wells. You were stirring up a move of God. And you weren't just crying for him. You were crying for a generation of children that have no outlet. And today the word of the Lord has come to answer every prayer and every cry. You guys grew up in a system of how things operate and how things have an order. But God says today, I'm going to take you outside of those boundaries and boxes. And I'm going to give to you the plans of heaven to reach the community of young. Your church will be a gatherer of the young. And as the young come, so shall their families. And as their hearts change, their grades excel, and their worlds become different, the families will believe. God says, I showed you a generation of young people filling your house, and you said, how could it be? God says, because I've called you to be a woman of efficiency. You carry a strong spirit of evangelism. You're not afraid. You're as bold as a lion. That means you're righteous. And he says, my righteousness shall come forth from your mouth. And it shall gather those who the world called weak. And I'll make them valiant. God said, I brought you here to impart and awaken glory. He's always a pillar. Not that he's stuffy, he's just quiet. So to see him shake and to speak tongues loud and jump around, a little different. But it's always been resident. You've been crying out for a move of God. And he says, I give it to you this night. Pick up your hands. Here it comes. Now she's going to be all stooped. Lord, wreck her world. Wreck it. Heavens, pour out a fresh impartation. I release now, not just change, but glory transformation. Let the fire of God flow over their city, over their church, over their ministry, over their lives. Send those that carry fresh breath. Send those who aren't afraid to stand in the face of religion and prophesy. Send fresh voices to their ministry. Send fresh people that hunger for glory. I impart the prophetic mantle to fall upon this house, and I awaken them to destiny. Just taking a deep breath. I release the breath of heaven. What happened, sir? What? I've been weak, been tired. Sit over and say, God, I need something to stir me back up. I know God's got a call on my life, but people have dragged you down. I don't give up. But tonight God did renew the fire. When I do something great, when I put the microphone in your belly like that, what happened? New. It is new. New. Watch this. See, in the eyes of people, this is a microphone. In the eyes of God, This is a place where sound is amplified. So you know what God did? The sound that has been amplified in here, He took it and placed it in there. And when He blew upon it, the sound reverberated over your whole body, where your body began to tremble and shake. See, to us, this is a microphone. To God, it's nothing but a power-induced machinery that amplifies His word. That's what happened. And when He expanded it in you, you couldn't help it. You spoke in tongues. You shook, you trembled, and when you grabbed hold of me, you really grabbed hold of God. And everything inside of you then grew weak, where you could no longer stand. And that's where the encounter took place. And you woke up renewed. Most people have never seen you break out like this. But it's going to become what's imparted to the next generation. They're going to want that kind of raw power. And you'll teach them how to let it flow through them and change your city. Junior high and high schools, find a way to get in. Campuses are looking for people to be mentors and teachers, instructors of hope and life. And watch God use the two of you to orchestrate change to your city. In the eyes of people, your city might be small, but in the eyes of God, it's big, because there's people filled with purpose, potential, and destiny to change the world. Out of a small place, God has world evangelistic ministries. And He's going to use you to help raise them up. Come on, someone say, oh yeah.